Good to have you back from Vegas.
All right, thanks. But I got a question. Why wouldn't they put Chiwiwis?
I think they're doing it on purpose. It's like they get a lot of views for some of the free fights, right? So they know they're going to get all the traction for the main event, and so they want to start it with a banger, a guy that they're pumping up. They do it a lot of times. Like they'll do like you're heading the prelims, like or the main card on ESPN or the main fight on ESPN before it switches to pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just a tactic to get some more eyes on it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
How did Chiwiwi do? Because that's a little before my time in watching.
Phenomenal. He came in, the dudes were striking left and right, throwing hands at each other. I think one thing about him that's amazing is he's so resilient now. Like he's finally in his step because he's still so young. So he had a lot of confidence. They're throwing hands, and he just stood there in the pocket and banged out, and he got the win. It's good to see him win again.
You think since he's so young, he'd be one of the guys that can compete for the next couple of decades? He'd be like 20 years, and we still be saying Chiwiwis.
I mean, hopefully he's got a fighting style that can last a long time. He's more of a grappler, right? So hopefully not be in some of those wars that would like make your career end sooner, right? So he could be a legacy long fighter, but he's also starting so young that like either going to get burnt out or you're going to be in those bangers. You're going to be in the fight for so long. I mean, a decade's a long time in the UFC,
It's about how they grow them, What's it like Sage Northcutt? That kid came in and they threw him in. He was pretty young, not as young, right? But he got blasted, and
but was he
it's hard to come back after you get like you're good. I mean, you're too young. You don't have your man strength. What Chewy does, he is Mexican, so he does age a little quicker. They mature a lot faster. Hey, back in high school, wrestling in high school here in California, all the motherfuckers have this hairy chest and shit.
Mustache.
God damn.
I mean, he's 9-1. He only has that one loss, I think. Chiwiwi.
Nice.
Here's a highlight from Chiwiwi in UFC. Perla, did you see anything from him?
Kid strong. I mean, I think TJ had it right on the money. With it just depends on how it goes. You got to handle that pressure. We know that did he get sick for one of these fights? Was it the last couple of fights he got sick or something? Didn't he?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy switches stances more than you, TJ.
He's starting. That's the new style these days, man.
TJ, you were bringing up to me a little bit before we jumped on the podcast about that Joe Rogan was talking about you and the Ludwig system and the Thai system, kind of like you being his greatest like pupil and apostle of the program. Can you kind of break that down for everybody? Because that Joe Rogan clip has like 5 million views.
So I was at Alpha Male, and we finally decided to hire a head coach, and thankfully that Dwayne had just retired. He blew his knee out. And Dwayne came to Alpha Male, started teaching a bunch of wrestlers how to strike. And he was never like a real dynamic, like he didn't switch his stance a bunch. He was like straightforward, punches and bunches, a tornado. He was master in technique, but his style also evolved by coaching us. And, I was a wrestler that led with my right foot forward, but then I was striking left foot forward because I'm right-handed. And so going right into those both stances kind of just blended together. And then he's created his whole system off of it. So what Joe Rogan did a really good job of breaking down with Dwayne was that he's one of these coaches that has a curriculum, right? To where he can teach his average Joes the same shit he's teaching his pros because it's all in these notebooks. He's got notebooks on notebooks on notebooks on technique, on how to do them and how to drill them. And that's why these gyms are paying him for an affiliate fee to get his technique. He sends them weekly videos to break down, how to, if you're an orthodox fighter, how to transition into southpaw. And he's just, I think, one of the first coaches in the striking world to make it a curriculum and to put so much organization behind it. Like the same way Gracie Baja does with their jiu-jitsu. Like every Gracie Baja across the world is doing the same techniques at the same time. It's like the same thing with Dwayne Bang's, the Bang Muay Thai.